Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a portable refrigerator for backcountry use and off-grid living. So let's get right into it. Okay guys, so here we have the fridge unit. As you can see, the size is not that big. We'll talk about dimensions in just a minute, but I do want to mention the name of the fridge because it is a very strange name. So it's actually printed inside of the lid. It is F40C4TMP. I don't know what it means, but that is the name of the fridge printed there. And while we got the door open, we might as well take a look inside. All right, so coming inside of the lid, you'll notice the name brand here I was just talking about. Very strange name, but that is the name right there. I'll put the link down in the description as well if you want to research this yourself. We do have a temperature chart here, so going from drinks all the way up to meat, it gives you the degrees in Celsius and Fahrenheit, what's the best operating temperature to run those kind of foods in the fridge. Inside of the refrigerator, I have both of the cables that are provided with the refrigerator. One is 12 volt, one is regular household outlet. Set those off to the side. You can then see the door is held on by a ball chain system, so it's not going to over open, which is really nice to protect the door. There is a very nice rubberized seal going all the way around the refrigerator door to help keep all the cool air in. And basically inside, it's just an open fridge, no shelf, no wire. Very nice and simple to get food in and out. So the fridge also comes with two extra rubberized feet. These are just stick-on feet that go underneath the fridge. Really great feature to help protect your floors in your RV, your home, whatever you're placing this on. The surface will be protected by those rubberized feet. Very handy. Also helps it from not sliding and slipping, so it actually locks it down pretty nice. It also has a full in-depth manual, and this is going to be needed with this fridge because there are some key features and some combinations of buttons that you'll need to know. So reading this is definitely going to help. Let's have a look at the cables and the output on the side of the fridge and talk about how you would plug it in and what you can plug it into. Okay, so having a look at this end of the refrigerator, there are two things I want to point out. One is the power input is located down here. It is DC 1224 volt, and all of these vents cut into the refrigerator, and those do extend partway onto the front and the back side. When you are operating this fridge, it is really important to have this area in an open space. So you don't want to have this jammed in between a wall or blankets or anything like that. You want to have this area open so the electronics and the compressor and everything can work regularly without getting overheated, because you may run into problems if this does not have proper venting. So talking about the input, we do have the two cables. Like I said, we got a 12 volt cable, and the other end is the input. I want to say this is probably about a 6 to 7 foot cable, so plenty of room to plug into your vehicle and then run the output to your refrigerator either in the back or maybe outside of the vehicle. Or if you're at a cabin, you can plug this into a power supply, which is what we're going to do today. But that is an option right there. So it does come with that cable. It also comes with the household cable, which is right here. It's got this adapter on there, two-piece cable, so this actually comes apart, plugs in there, and you got your standard household outlet there, and then the same connector on the bottom. Plug it in there. You can plug it in your vehicle if you have a household plug. My vehicle does. Or you can plug it into your house, your inverter, whatever you need to plug it into to get power. You have two options there for input. Alright, so for today's video purposes, I'm going to be plugging the refrigerator into my battery pack with a household plug. The reason why I'm going to do this is because the LCD on this is actually going to give me the readout of wattage, what it's doing during its hard pull time, and what it's going to be doing during its floating stage once it reaches that temperature. So let's get this turned on. The refrigerator is now on. You hear that high-pitched beep, and I have it set. We're going to bring it down to -5 degrees Celsius, and it's telling me right now it's at 1 degree Celsius. So if you listen really carefully, the fridge is now running on high. It is whisper quiet, very, very quiet operating fridge. We're going to let this come down to temp. I'm going to tell you right now that it is at outputting 36 watts going into the fridge. And it is on high right now. So that is pulling a lot of juice, getting down to that temperature that we've set. It's at 35 watts. So it's going to go between 35 and probably 37 watts. Okay, so right now looking at this little LCD indicator screen is telling us that we are at -1 degree Celsius currently. We're on max and we're pulling 14.4 volts. If I want to change the temperature, the fridge is not currently locked, so I can just press the temperature. And that tells me I've got it set to go down to -7 degrees now. It'll flash, and then it'll lock in, going back to the current temperature, and then it'll go down to -7. After a few moments, once you've set that, it will beep and it will go into a locking mode. Once it goes into a locking mode, you then cannot change the temperature until you press and hold the set button, which is also the unlock button. And then once it is unlocked, then you can change the temperature. This is a great feature for dealing with children or accidental touch. All right, so the fridge just gave me a beep telling me that it has reached the temperature that I set it to. The battery is now putting out 4 watts of power in its floating stage. So this is now down to temperature, and it's only pulling 4 watts. So that is really awesome for camping. Once it gets down to temp, it'll go down into a much lower wattage pull. Basically, supplying power to the LCD, the computer, and the output for USB. So there is a tiny little output here. If you wish to charge devices, you can actually plug in a USB plug, put it out to your phone, your headlamp, your flashlight, whatever you want to charge. There is an actual output there to do so. Alright, so let's take some real quick measurements of the refrigerator. On the outside, we are 22 long. We are about 12.5 deep. And for height, we're about 11 inches tall. Get that out of there. Let's open the door and let's take some measurements of the internal space. So internal, I'm getting 13.5. I'm getting 9 3/4. And for the height, I'm going to go to the height where the rubber seal would be. And I'm getting a measurement of 7 3/4. Okay guys, so this heating feature, I will mention that it does pull a lot of power. So going through the manual here, on the cold temperature, it goes -22 degrees Celsius is the lowest temperature. And then on the warming feature, it goes to +55 degrees Celsius. So that's kind of the max range. But when it's on heating, obviously it's going to pull more power. So right now it's at -2 degrees Celsius. And I've put it up all the way to +55 degrees Celsius. It is now pulling 88 watts of power to get to that temperature. So that is going to pull quite a bit of power. Now to switch between cooling and warming modes, you basically unlock the fridge if it's locked. So holding the set button, the unlock button for 3 seconds, it then unlocks the fridge. You then press and hold the plus and the minus temperature buttons at the same time, and that'll switch the indicator from a green frost, kind of like a snowflake, to a hot cup icon that's red, and then the entire LCD screen will switch to red. So then you know it's in warming mode versus cooling mode. So it's very simple. The temperature range is quite usable, -22 all the way to +55. That is definitely a drastic change. But like I said, I'm primarily going to be using this as a refrigerator, not a heater. But I was really interested in finding that out because this is the first time I've actually put it in that mode. And I'm interested to see that 87 to 88 watts is what it's pulling to basically run on high to change the temperature from cold to hot. Okay, so I'm going to run through the functions on the refrigerator that I haven't touched on yet. And I'm just going to I'm going to do all the navigating here, but I'm just going to voice what I'm doing. So the fridge currently is locked out. To unlock it, I'm going to hold the set button for a few seconds. The lock icon will disappear. The fridge is now unlocked. If I single press the set button, it starts flashing and it says max. If I press it again, it goes down to eco. And then I press it again, it goes back to max. So that's max and eco mode. So that's the difference in power pull on how it's going to operate. And then just let go of the button and it'll stop flashing. That mode is locked in. If I press and hold the set button for a longer hold, it'll beep. And now there's an H on the other side of the LCD flashing. The H is for high. If I press again, go back into that mode. So the H is flashing. If I press it, it goes down to an L that's flashing. That's for low. Press it again, an M for medium. And then press again, back to high. So I'm going to leave it at high and I'm going to leave it on max. I'm not going to touch anything. Once that's done flashing, it is then set. After not touching it for about 10 seconds, the entire control panel will lock itself out, and then you need to then unlock it again if you want to make any adjustments. Now, the important thing with this that I really enjoy is if I detach the power cable and I want to move the refrigerator. So if the refrigerator is in the back seat of my truck and I need to unplug it and bring it out here and plug it back in, when I plug it back in, there's actually a built-in memory. So all the settings that I set will be back running when I plug it in. So it does have memory, which is really handy, especially if you change a lot of those settings and even the temperature. When you unplug it, you don't have to set that back. As soon as you plug it back in, it remembers where it was last, and it'll go right back to that function. Okay guys, so to wrap things up with this review, like I said, the name of the fridge is a little strange. F40C4TMP. So I'm going to put the link in the description so you guys can find this on Amazon to do a little bit more research if you're interested in it. The name is a little strange. I'm not sure what's going on with that, but the fridge works really well. I do have to say, I really do enjoy it. And if there's anything that I didn't touch on or I wasn't clear enough, drop it down in the comment section and I'll be sure to help you the best that I can. That is all that I got for you today. So this is my refrigerator that I'm going to be using on the channel. Thank you guys very much, and I'll catch you in the next video.